All right. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. Really is great. Um, Thank you for taking a little time this evening, um, as well for those who join next week. We thought that we would have these kind of informal forums before the training, in part because we've been doing something similar with the presidents-elect this year, and it's been really helpful to have more of an open discussion, discuss challenges, opportunities, things like that, so that we're we have those initial discussions, and then when we get to Sapporo, it can be more targeted. So thank you for joining us. Should we just do introductions real quick since not everyone may know each other? We have time. Uh, okay, following Zoom protocol, top left to bottom right. Let's start with David.
I'm David Weaver. I'm currently the president of the Rotary Club of Santa Fe, and this will be my first time to serve as an assistant governor. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Leah?
Yeah, I'm Leah Jordan, Las Cruces Rotary Club, and I am coming back in as an assistant governor.
Fantastic. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
Marianne?
Marianne Collings. I'm the president of the Portales Rotary Club.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jerry?
Hi, I'm Jerry Timian. I am currently co-president of the Raton Club, and I'm looking forward to being assistant governor this coming year. Woohoo!
All right.
Yes. Woo-hoo. I love it. That's great. That's great. Rick?
Yeah, I'm Rick Thompson. I'm the current president of the Moriarty Rotary Club, and of course, this assistant governor deal will be my first time. So looking forward to
Fantastic.
it.
Thank you very much, Rick. Donna?
I'm Donna Pedacci in the Los Lunas Club. I served for 20 years as a district chair of various committees, and so this will be the first time I'll be an assistant governor.
Wonderful, Donna. Thank you so much. Vicki?
I'm Vicki Reisenbach, and I am in Albuquerque Metro Rotary. Well, Rotary, Albuquerque Metro Club, and I'm not currently an officer in the club, and also my first time as assistant governor.
Thank you, Vicki. Bianca?
Hi, I'm Bianca Cheney. I'm from the Roswell Rotary Club. I have completed 3 years, or will by June, completed 3 years as an AG, and I'm going to sign up for another 3 years.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And I am the district YEO.
And you do a great job at both. Thank you.
Thank
Jen?
What does YEO mean?
Youth Exchange Officer.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Cool.
So we do the exchanges.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you,
am,
Jen.
oh yeah, thanks. Thanks, Bianca. I'm Jen Dresser. I'm our district learning facilitator, which is my primary function in this meeting tonight, but I've also been an AG for 4 years. And I am stepping down to make room for more folks. And so I'm really excited that we have so many new people. Very exciting.
Yeah,
Me
that's
too.
great. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff Weinrack with the Rotary Club of Albuquerque del Sol. I've had different district roles as well, and I will be serving as governor starting in July. And since it did come up, as a few of you were introducing yourselves, part of the reason why we have so many new people is because a number of current assistant governors have at least served 3 years. And when I reached out to them, it was, if we find other people, would you be okay stepping down, or do you continue to serve? Some of them really wanted to continue, like Bianca. But a number of them said, oh, if you can find other people to serve, that would be great. I don't mind stepping back. So we really wanted some new people. And so we're glad that you're all part of this, and we're going to go through this together. This is an opportunity for all of us. And so we really appreciate you being part of the leadership team. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jeff. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. Can you introduce yourselves to those who may not know you?
Hi, my name is Jim Hatcher. Unfortunately, I'm in the dark as usual. Uh, but I'm AG from Fort Stockton for Fort Stockton, Marfa, and Van Horn.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Jen, I think we're going to walk through the job description first, and then we'll go into some of the topics that I sent out in the introductory email, and then we'll have an open discussion, any questions you have, things like that, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. And before I get into the detail of the job description, if you could, Jeff, just kind of speak about your vision of how you'll be working with both LGs and AGs in the coming year and what we're hoping to do to kind of change the organization, strengthen it a little bit. So if you want to talk about that first.
Cool. Okay, so there's a lot to that, but I'll do the high level overview, but then we can take a deep dive if it would help. So I guess two things. One is that I have a full-time job at UNM Hospital and would not be able to do the traditional governor travel that governors have traditionally done. And when I was serving on the district training team, we were hearing that Rotary International is wanting to see districts adjust how they do governor visits. Maybe it's because they saw that they were not real valuable or they took a toll on the governors, whatever their reasons. And so when we heard that, I said, okay, well, I would be willing to serve, but only if the district leadership team and the nominating committee wanted to have a different model for governor club visits because I won't have that opportunity. And the nominating committee said, yes, we want to have a different model in case the governor is in a situation like Jeff, or maybe younger people will look at the governor role and see that they can fulfill that role and not have the logistics challenge of having to travel a very large district geographically, as you all know. Well, I didn't really want everything to be just about different governor models for club visits. So we've been building this, we're calling it a club engagement model. How can the district better engage with clubs, in part because the relationship we're going to have may be slightly different because the club may not see me at a club meeting. We may have a town hall or something else. So we built this fairly broad model of improving club engagement. And a lot of the improving club engagement focuses on how we are supporting clubs and their decision making in fostering new ideas, having clubs work together to figure out strategies to improve membership or donations to the foundation or service projects, things like that. So we are making some adjustments to basically how the district functions currently, with more focus on, if you want to call it, club empowerment and district support. So part of what we're going to talk about is kind of what that may look like, what feedback you have. For those of you who are currently assistant governors, what this may do in terms of how your role may change. For those of you who are new and some of you are currently presidents, if this whole notion of club empowerment with more district support is something you think would work. So that's a high level view. When we get into the topics, I've got a slide I'm going to bring up that shows a schematic or a view of what we're looking at in terms of this more collaborative relationship we want to have with clubs. So we'll show that in a few minutes. Jen, is that what you were looking for, high level?
Pretty much. I mean, I think to get at what you're saying, because you're partly because you're doing less visits to the clubs, you're really depending on the AGs and LGs to be the district representatives at the clubs and back, like from the clubs back to the district, like be that connection. So let me just share my screen, and I put in chat the actual job description. Does everybody see that file? So you can download that No need to read it word for word right now. You might have seen it before already. But I took that and I boiled it down to 5 bullets. So as an AG, and LGs we'll talk in a little more detail at AG.LG training about what that role will look like. But AGs specifically, the number one thing that you are is a liaison between the clubs and the district. And I wanted to give this, by the way, I wanted to give this overview because there's so many new folks. I just wanted to explain what the idea of an AG is, what we're hoping the AGs will do, because your experience with your AG might have been different in the past. So this is our goal. The goal is that you're a liaison. You're sharing updates. We actually have a reporting form that we ask our AGs to complete after every club visit that's on the district website. So that would be something that way you can report to Jeff what you're seeing in the clubs and what leaders, for example, are coming up through the clubs. And then you're there to strengthen the club's success through your regular visits and coaching on like what things they should be doing and what tools are available and what committee leaders are available to them in the district. And we'll get you all this information so you don't have to know all this today, and you're going to learn a lot at the in-person LGAG training. But this is, again, just to give you an overview of the expectations. So monitoring club progress by using that visit form that I mentioned, tracking your club's goals. Hopefully they've entered goals. We'd like all the clubs to enter goals in Rotary Club Central. You're there to identify any concerns and keep the governor line informed. And then you're there to prepare and support leaders using a lot of the same tools and really promote engagement between the clubs and the district, because the district is trying to offer a lot of resources to help the clubs be successful, but many of the clubs, especially the clubs that need them, don't take advantage always. So to sum up, these are all the high level things that we would want an AG to focus on. Does that make sense? Does the job description make sense? Any questions about it so far? Is that what you thought you signed up for?
Yes.
Or did you think you signed up for something else?
That's clear to me.
Okay.
Yeah, very clear.
Great. Perfect. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And especially given that, like Jeff said, he's not traveling as much. We're doing things a little bit differently. Your role is going to be incredibly important this coming year. And us functioning together as a team will be incredibly important. So thank you for taking that on. And so now that we've established everybody's here for what they signed up for, Jeff had a few questions that he wanted to run by you.
So let me say one thing that I did not mention when I talked about the changes to the governor visits. So one of the districts in the Northwest, I think it's Wyoming, for a number of years, they have had a governor visit model, which had the governor-elect, and the governor nominee each taking a third of the clubs and doing the official visit. Similar district to ours, very large. So the sense was that they split it amongst the governor line. And what the governor-elect would do after they visit a third of the clubs when they're elect, when they then become governor, they would visit a different third, so that ideally, when a person has gone through 3 years of that governor line, by the time they have completed their term as governor, they will have visited every club. It was just over a 3-year period. We are proposing doing something similar. It would start in July. So Laura Gonzalez as the governor-elect, Mark Goodman as the governor nominee, and Sonny Kellerman as the vice governor. The 4 of us will be splitting up and having the official, if you want to call it, governor representative visits. So there's still going to be an official visit, but it's going to be by 1 of 4 people. And that should help with people that want to serve as governor but can't visit all the clubs. We didn't really change the AG job description too much in that regard because there's still going to be an official club visit. So we don't know yet how we're gonna divvy up, but that is the intent, very similar to what Wyoming is doing for the governor. Okay, so a couple of questions and themes. So at International Assembly, we got the message from the incoming president. He's a wonderful man from Nigeria. The message for this upcoming year is create lasting impact. And it was really interesting because we didn't know what was going to come out of this year. Last year was Unite for Good, and there was discussion about, is that going to stay or is it going to change every year? There was all that discussion. What they clarified is that Unite for Good was not a theme, it's a message. Create lasting impact is not a theme, it's a message. And both Unite for Good and Create Lasting Impact are calls to action for clubs. So as we are working with clubs, we can reinforce both Unite for Good and Create Lasting Impact as part of like, how are you thinking about impact as a club? What does that mean? How impactful are the projects that you do? And it's interesting, there's a lot of discussion about, outcomes and what comes out of the work that we do. Impacts suggest longer term, like with global grants, things like that. So having the message of create lasting impact, it gives us an opportunity to have a discussion about the impact that a Rotary Club is having on its members, on the community, on community partners, things like that. So for us, it's just that it's a message, not a theme. That's the main thing. If we call it a theme, I don't think anyone's going to argue, but they are intended to be messages. And I'm sure there's going to be pins and all sorts of logos and things. But that's one change that they made at Rotary International. Any questions about? And so what they said is Unite for Good is still relevant. It's not going. We now have two messages, and maybe next year they'll add a third, and we'll just kind of compound that way. So any questions about the message for the year?
I actually like the create lasting impact.
It's good.
I think it'll be a great way to set goals.
Yes. Yeah. And again, this the notion of longer term.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, let me share my screen and show this proposed model that we were referring to. Can you give me share privilege, Ms. Jen? Thank you. Okay. So here we go. As you probably know, the district has what are called area councils or president's councils. They're called different things.
Well, we might want to ask that question. We can see your screen, Jeff, but is there anybody that doesn't know about area councils and our
I
goal?
don't.
Okay.
Okay, that was Vicky.
Yeah.
Okay. So a number of years ago, the district set up, at the time they were called president's councils. I believe that was the official name. And the district is split currently into 5 areas. Each area had a president's council. And the councils would get together and they would provide updates on how the clubs are doing. They would provide information on projects where there might be opportunities to work together. And they were great. And a few years ago, for some reason, they started morphing into more district meetings with some club leadership present. So they started being run by assistant governors or lieutenant governors. The club presidents were still invited, but they were not always participating, and they kind of morphed. And we want to bring it back to being club led. And part of the reason is because of this model that we're showing, that if we're going to empower clubs to work together on addressing challenges and opportunities and things like that, that they need a forum. We don't want them to work individually. We'd like for them to work together. You know, with brainstorming, the best ideas come from working together and discussing and sharing. So we are proposing that the area councils transition back to their original model, which is being club-led. We out of the four working councils, one of them has an incoming president willing to serve next year, and that's the central area. Mark Dimke, who's going to be the president of the Albuquerque Metro Club, has agreed to chair the council next year. And again, we're working with the incoming presidents now to kind of see if they're willing to kind of take ownership of these councils again. So the intent is that the district leadership team, which is all of us, would be collaborating with clubs through, for example, these councils. Assistant governors would still be visiting clubs. There would still be specific club interaction. But the councils would be an opportunity for them to come up with new ideas, to strategize. You can think about it like someone has, okay, like an innovation hub that they can get together and try new things. And we're at the point where it's worth trying new things. Some of the metrics have been down for a while. So, and then the area councils would then cascade down to the individual clubs that are represented, the boards and the members and so on. So we're kind of promoting this, what we're calling like shared governance. The districts on the left focusing on what the district can control and focus on, which is supporting clubs, having a good infrastructure, you know, communications, all that. Clubs focus on membership strategies and foundation and public image and all that. So in order for this to work, area councils need to be club-led, and we have to make sure that we are supporting them without telling them what to do unless they really need help. So this is kind of what we are proposing. And again, we'll talk about this more in Socorro, but we wanted to at least show you this and see if you have any thoughts or feedback, concerns.
How big is the area? I mean,
yeah. So there are
yeah.
There are 5 current areas: the north, the south, the east, the central, and the southeast. The southeast is the one that Jim Hatcher is the assistant governor for. It's those 3 clubs in Texas that are east of El Paso. They roughly have the same amount of clubs, but they're very different in terms of geography. The east is very large. Bianca can attest to that, Mary Ann. The central is not as large, but it's still pretty large. It does include Gallup and Grants and Socorro. The north is very large. And then the south is kind of like the central, El Paso, Las Cruces. Some of the councils can meet in person because a lot of the clubs are fairly close to each other. Some of them meet online. I know Bianca is very involved in the East Council that generally meets online. Yeah. So they're not necessarily forums where we're always going to be getting together in the same room, but they might be Zoom meetings to conduct the work of the councils.
Thank you.
And each area has a lieutenant governor. Next year, not every area may have a lieutenant governor. We are struggling to find someone who can be a lieutenant governor in the north. We've lost a lot of leadership in the north, which is why it's great to have Jerry and others serve in leadership roles, because we're grooming new leadership in these areas. So the north may not have a lieutenant governor, which is fine. We'll work with the assistant governors in the north as a governor line, so we'll make sure that we're serving in that role. The east may not have a lieutenant governor. Veronica has been serving in that role. She's fantastic. She may not serve next year. So again, we may work with the assistant governors in the east as if we were a lieutenant governor, making sure that the club visits are going well and all that. And that's the commitment is that Laura and Mark and Sonny and I will work with the areas that do not have a lieutenant governor to make sure that everything is running smooth. The South, Mike Hackett is set to be returning as lieutenant governor for next year. And in the central area, Mark Goodman is now the district governor nominee designate. So George Greenlee from Los Lunas, who is currently an assistant governor, he will be lieutenant governor for the central area next year. Any other thoughts or questions about this proposal? This is going to be a little bit different for all of us, but we're very optimistic that clubs getting together can figure out a lot of things.
I like it. I think that's a really good way to do things.
Cool. Cool. Glad to hear it. Good.
Can you share the organizational chart like you have at some point?
Yes. I will send this, and we're going to pretty it up and make it look nicer, but I will send this to all of you. And I'll send it to the group that's going to come next week as well. Yes.
Thank you.
But when you say organizational chart, David, do you mean this one that's on the screen or the org chart?
Correct. Just the one here. I'm just looking at it. And
Yeah, I will send this out. Yeah, definitely send it out. And we will discuss this. It's good that we're looking at it now so that you all can think about it, and then we get to Socorro, we can do a little bit of a deeper dive if we need to. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If we're going to be promoting innovation for Rotary clubs, we need to be a little bit innovative ourselves. And this model is different, and do we know it's going to work? No, but we're willing to try and see. We'll see how it works. And yeah, that was the other point is, there's a lot of focus from Rotary International on innovation and new ideas. We've got new club types as an example. Our district has not developed a lot of new clubs that are not the traditional clubs. That's a great opportunity for us. But we're in a phase now where Rotary is giving us a lot of open doors and a lot of opportunities, and I love that. And it's not, if something doesn't work, there's nothing negative about that. What's key is if something doesn't work, learn from what doesn't work and try something else. And one of the reasons I'm glad that Jerry is part of this leadership team is that, the Raton Club tried a lot of things. And some of them worked and some of them didn't. But that's just the idea of trying new things is a mindset that we're going to have to work with people on. It may not be natural for them to think like that. Some will, like Jerry. But some may be in that, we're fine mode. And I think it's up to us to gently demonstrate that we're fine is not true. That we all have opportunities. And as we know, if a Rotary Club is not moving forward, it's generally moving backward.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, that's going to be our new focus on top of what we already do, which is kind of promoting and giving them the carte blanche to try and discover, because they're the ones that are going to have to do this anyway. It's not going to be us doing it for them. So use the area councils as that hub where they can get together and share and learn. Any thoughts on that? Especially from those of you who've been serving the role for a few years, this is a little bit different. Is it your sense that it's going to be, I don't want to say easy, but a reasonable transition to this more open, innovative, risk-taking notion for Rotary clubs?
I really don't think it's that much different from what we've done in the past, except having the district governor sharing his or her duties with 2 or 3 other people. But I don't think that's any different from what there was before. All these people are in the hierarchy and are going to be doing this eventually anyway. so it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
It seems, I think everything will work out fine.
We think so too. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
And I think like if you're looking for innovation, having the clubs really participate in the councils is a great way for clubs to get ideas about doing something different.
That's
So
what
it's
we
like,
think. I was just going to say that's what we think too. And the challenge has just been finding the right time that most people can meet and then getting the representatives there. But we do
yeah.
find when clubs connect, like you're absolutely right, Vicki, they get lots of good ideas. Thank you, Bianca. I'm glad you're able to come for a little bit.
Bye.
Thanks,
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bianca.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah. Rotary says it's a bottom up organization, not a top down. And hopefully this model reflects more of a bottom up approach. So we'll see. We'll see. Any other comments, feedback, questions? If not, we wanted to leave some time for open discussion. This is something we're doing with the incoming presidents. By the way, those discussions have been going very well. I'm going to add you all to the invites for those president-elect meetings in case you can make it. You'll have a chance to kind of maybe get to know some of the presidents-elect. Again, we don't know how we're going to do club assignments yet, but just to get a flavor. They've been really good so far. If anything, and Jen's been part of them. If anything, it's just we wish more would participate, but the ones that are, it seems to be an effective way to kind of build relationships, answer questions, deal with things before we get to president-elect learning in March. So those have been going well, and it seems like the word is spreading a little bit. Maybe we're getting some more people.
Oh, and just a quick public service announcement that it is, we're a volunteer organization, but if anything is required, PELS is required for AGs, because in-person PELS, not the online ones, because we're going to set up time for you to meet with your presidents-elect. So that'll be a really important relationship building, goal setting time. So please do register if you haven't already.
And if you can't, we'll adjust.
And I have a question. So is it going to be decided which clubs are assigned to each assistant governor?
Will be over the next 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to meet as groups. So each area will get together and because we have one more slot to fill, but we can still go ahead and set up these meetings and figure out what makes the most sense in terms of where the assistant governors live and what clubs they are near them. So I would say by Socorro, we should have a map of how assistant governors will kind of be divvied up. But it'll be as a group, it's not going to be on call. Yeah.
Great. That sounds good.
Cool. Okay. Since many of you are new, and wrapping your arms around this, well, this is up, open to anyone, but what questions do you have? Or thoughts or issues, challenges?
One of the things in your points was that training, which I assume, and I'm forgetting what it's called, but the one that you said was required, which I would want to do it anyway, but that's online, right? That's like through the Rotary website.
The one I just mentioned was in-person PELS in Albuquerque.
No.
But you're talking about the online course. Yeah, that's in the Learning Center.
Right.
Yeah, and we can send instructions on how to get there.
Great.
Up until this year, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, up until this year, Assistant Governor Essentials was available, recommended, but RI
not even really recommended. It was just kind of there.
It was kind of there. Okay. So as you all know, Pell, they will say Pels is a requirement. If you don't attend Pels, you can't serve. If I didn't go to Orlando, I couldn't serve. but we know that there's exceptions, and we're a very large district, and sometimes a president-elect will send a proxy to Pels. Maybe it's the president-elect nominee or something like that. But this year is the first year that they have kind of upped the significance of that online AG course. Is that right, Jen?
That's my impression. Yeah.
So that's the expectation, is that it's required, just like president-elect learning is required and all of that. So,
Right.
from our vantage point, please take it. We're not the police, but it really, and Learning Central, for those of you who've been in it, it really has improved over the last few years. It's a lot more user friendly. And so yeah, please, if you have the opportunity, please go ahead and take the and the course is probably split into like individual modules, like the president-elect one is. So if you're gonna take it, just make sure that you go through each one, and it's pretty easy to kind of see what the different modules are and all
So
that.
maybe raise your hand if you know where it is already. Okay, so about half know where it is. So do you mind, the half that already know, do you mind if I just show it real quick for those that maybe don't know where it is? I'll do it real fast. So here is if you sign into my Rotary, if you can't see my screen yet. Yep, now you should see it. So I'm already signed in. You can scroll down to the middle of the page and go to the Learning Center box. Does everybody see that box, Learning Center? Yep. And then when that loads, the page will look like this. And you want to go to District Leadership Courses and Assistant Governor Essentials right here.
Okay. I think that would be I would like to do it before the Socorro meeting. So
yes, that would be ideal. If you're going to take it before then.
Yeah.
I started it this morning, and it's really good because I only did a module and a half or something like that, but there were a lot of good things that I hadn't thought about, and I thought, oh, this is really a nice shot in the arm, really. So I really enjoyed the information already. So
that's great.
Awesome. I'm going to clip that part out of this recording, Jerry, and you're going to become a commercial. I'm going to send it to like Jerry Timian said.
Sure.
Leah, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to know about. I've attended so many Pels and Pets meeting. It's unbelievable. I've attended probably about 18 of those. There was no possibility for me to make it in to Albuquerque. There is no way. Is that okay with you all? Because I've attended, like I said, millions of them.
Yeah, so the reason why we're saying it's required, like we're using the word required, is because we do want you to connect with your presidents if you can. But just like Jeff said, there's exceptions, and if you can't come, you can't, and we'll figure it out, differently.
For sure, I'll be in Socorro, but there is no way I can make it to Albuquerque.
Got it.
So this raises a really important point, especially for those of you who are new, and yeah. So for those of you who are new, which is pretty much all of you, even though your term starts in July, after Socorro, that 3 or 4 month period would be a great opportunity to get to know the clubs that are assigned to you. So that by July, you already have some familiarity with the club, the membership, the dynamics, what they work on, maybe some of the challenges. One thing that came up leading up to tonight was it would be nice, and we'll see if we can figure out a way to do this, that you would be able to see maybe a summary of the assistant governor reports for the clubs that you're going to be assigned. Ideally, you would have a chance to maybe chat with the person that has those clubs now, but it may not be a single person. Again, there might be there might be a different arrangement. So the main thing is that before July, each of you has a comfort level with the clubs that you will be assigned. And that's really important. We've seen situations where assistant governors didn't take that opportunity before July. And then they make their first visit in July and August, but it's new. They don't know who the leadership is. They haven't spoken with the incoming president, things like that. So might as well use the time. That's, we've got 3 or 4 months to do that. Jen or Jim, since you are current AGs and LGs, and did I miss anything in that, or was that generally the case?
No, I want to reemphasize, if you can talk to the previous AG or AGs that you're taking over from, you'll get a lot from that conversation versus just reading the reports. So we'll try to make those connections, because I think a lot of people don't want to put in writing maybe what they're thinking about the clubs. So you get the real insight when you talk to them.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
We can see you, Donna. Whatever
Yeah,
happened.
we can
You
see.
mean I finally popped up?
Although before Donna asks her question, maybe just because it looked like Jim was going to add something on that original topic. Do you mind if we?
I think if you're going to have time before you're actually AG, if you want to, go visit the club. Find a club, go visit them, go see what they're about. Clubs love visitors, and if you're not an official role yet, they don't even know you're going to be their assistant governor, might be a really good way to sneak in and see what they're up to, because they will open up to you a lot better if they just think you're Joe Blow instead of a district executive. I guess I've been doing this for a while. They all know me now, but it's just kind of like it's one of those things that if you want to, go visit them, and after a while, you really like visiting the clubs. They're all very interesting people, and they're all doing the same thing that you're doing. So go out there and go see them.
That sounds like being a spy, though.
100%.
You're not
then we
a
show up
spy.
a month later and oh, now I'm an assistant governor.
You're not a spy, but you are a liaison.
Yeah. No, I just, when you said not, being incognito as just a regular visitor, I could see
you don't
I
have
could
an
see
official
the
title.
credibility. Yeah.
Jeff's
That's
going to
cool.
give you a little badge that you can wear on your shirt, and that'll tell everybody that you're the assistant governor.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wear that before you're assistant governor.
Okay.
After you're assistant governor, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And the other thing I always tell the clubs is there is no Rotary police, so
Yeah.
they're not be hunting you down. And so all this stuff is voluntary, but you just try to coerce them into it one way or another.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure.
Donna?
Yes. One of the questions I had, I have no idea how it will be with whatever clubs I'll be dealing with, but one of the challenges we've had historically is to have clubs put in their officers and set their goals. And I question, where does that overlap happen before July? Obviously would talk to the current assistant governor, but I'm a great one for encouraging people to do things. And so I'm curious about that in terms of the etiquette of handling it.
Great point. So Jen, jump in here if I'm murky with my language.
Okay.
It has been a challenge to either convince incoming club leadership to set goals and enter them into Rotary Club Central, because some do not, or if they do have goals, that they were not arbitrary, that there was some plan or some process that they used to come up with what those goals were, that they were reasonable, they were, whatever. Jen?
Well, I think, Donna, weren't you asking about officers? It's the same challenge for both, but I think you were asking.
I'm asking about the timing. My inclination, but I'm concerned about current assistant governor, would be to be in contact with that leadership in advance if they have not done that, to encourage them to do it before July 1st. In the past, they've always been ask required to have those things in, but before the year starts. And so if they haven't done it, do you step on the toes? I mean, obviously, I would talk with the current assistant governor, but what is the protocol for that? Waiting until July the 1st seems to defeat the purpose.
No, I think that's very reasonable. And again, Jen and Jim are current AGs, so you guys can talk about kind of how the protocol works. But yes, it is totally within our purview to make sure that they have done their work that they are required to do, which includes putting goals into Rotary Club Central, entering their officers, all of that. So yes, that is part of what we want to do, is make sure that those tasks have been carried out in a timely manner. But Jen and Jim can talk about the protocol just because they go through it with folks.
Donna, if the current AG is so thin-skinned that they don't want you to ask them or ask the clubs that you're responsible for to get their goals in, because obviously they've probably done it already. But if it's not really on you. This is your year. This is the goals and the club hierarchy is your year, and so you need to just go ahead and do it if you want to do it. Just go ahead
And I
and do
think
it.
too, if you talk to the previous AG and you do any kind of turnover, there's definitely not going to be any issue anyway, because these are all goals, like you said, Jim, for the coming Rotary year, not now. But yeah, I would suggest trying to connect with that previous AG, and then once you've connected with them, they're probably going to be like, "Yep, go nuts." I'm sure that's what they're going to say. Go ahead, Marianne.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm the first club president to put anything in our club in possibly 15 years.
Thank you, Marianne.
I think you just, got to get in there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm also the first president to ask for the bylaws and finally get them, and they're from 1980.
Amazing. And this is a question, like a lot of you are current presidents, co-presidents. So, and you had an AG, like what did you like that your AG did? And what do you see? What would you, given the job description, what else would you have liked to have seen? What would you like to have seen done differently? If anybody has any ideas about that.
Yeah, I got some ideas, Jen. I honestly don't know who my AG is.
Right. See, that's a challenge right there. I mean, you should know at least their name. Like each of my clubs at least knows my name. So that's important.
Yeah, and I think if the clubs I get assigned at least know what I look like and my name, that's probably about a third or maybe a little more of the battle. So
it's a good part of it. Yeah. And I would say as an AG, I found it can, depending on the club, it can take a long time to get them to trust you. So just showing up, like going through multiple visits before you start asking them to do work also helps.
Yeah, and what I like to, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Vicky.
Oh, so what our AG did visit several times, I think, and he also came to some of our special events and that kind of thing. So I thought that was very helped a lot in working with him.
Agreed.
Jerry?
Oh, you're on mute, Jerry.
You're on mute. Sorry. It's our favorite expression.
There we go. When I started, there was let's see, we had an AG, but she resigned shortly after, and I saw her for she visited like early on. Maybe it was April or May, because I'd taken over the club before the other president was out of, or quit. Anyway, so I only saw her for a couple hours, and she visited our club, and I didn't really have any clue. First year, I was clueless and just trying to get the club out of the grave. little bit. But it would have been good looking back now, because it's taking us now, we're kind of getting into the mode of looking at our goals and planning for next year and sorting through what we want. It would have been good for that AG to really just sit down with me, because I really didn't know anything about Rotary or anything at the beginning, or where our club, we didn't even have a future when I started, is what I felt like. So I did feel kind of, what was the point? I just thought I gotta do something, take action. But it would have been good to have the AG just sit down with me and talk about it. Show me the website, because I didn't know even that part until later, because I didn't get to the president-elect. I missed the president-elect training that year. But that would have been just good. And I hate the word goals myself, so we had issues, I'm gonna say. And we have a
When I
little
was
bit.
president, I was one of those people who didn't put our goals in, I think.
Well, we don't have to throw ourselves under the bus, Vicky. That's not what this is about. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
No, but it sounds like Jerry's saying meet one-on-one with the presidents of your clubs, the incoming presidents,
Yeah.
Yes.
and help them,
Yeah,
know what.
it would have been great. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense.
I had one
And
thing I wanted. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, we are just now getting through our a little bit more revision of our new bylaws, because I don't know how many years back either they've been done, probably at least 10 years. So we started with a blank slate, and that feels great. We're getting close.
Yay. You've done amazing work, Terry.
Yeah. There's one thing I wanted to mention, but before I do, I wanted to ask Leah, since she's been out of the AG/LG realm for a year or so and is coming back. Thank you. What has your experience been with the kind of the 3 or 4 months before July and getting to know incoming presidents and boards and things like that?
The nice thing about the Las Cruces clubs that I have been around, I know all the members and I know all the incoming and outgoing president and AGs and stuff. And I know that I think I'm replacing Bob Bernard as the AG. Bob and I talk a lot about the different positions and stuff, and he already has figured out that I'm taking over his spot, and he says cannot be a better person to take over the spot. So I think my clubs that I think I'll be working with, they all know, are expecting to probably see me, because even when I had stepped out, I was still the lieutenant governor. They thought that I was the lieutenant governor for the longest time, until I told them at meetings, I say, I am not there to do any of the governorship type thing. I'm just here as a member of a Rotary Club and stuff, because they always thought that was my position, even though I had left the position. So it will be. I have worked with mostly all the clubs in our district down here, and I know them very well. So feel like they make me feel welcome when I go in. I have never had a single club or president-elect or president coming in, and they always made me feel very welcome. They welcome the connection, because to them, the governor can visit only maybe once a year. So to them, it's another connection of what is going on in Rotary and stuff. So they really appreciate you having stepped in and doing the job.
They really do.
I think they are very appreciative, and that's what like I was listening to Jim saying that you can go in disguise. I can't disguise myself. It doesn't matter how I try to disguise myself. I give myself away the very minute I walk in a club. I say hello. They go, "Oh, Leah, it's you." And so I can't disguise myself.
Jim may think he disguises himself.
Well, no, I can't.
That's true.
So that's how I feel about the coming back in as an AG. When I was an LG, and I'll tell you, when I was an LG, I did not feel as good a connection as when I was an AG.
Different. Yeah.
When it was a completely different connection, and I prefer the AG connection than I do the LG connection.
That's awesome. So one thing before 7 o'clock, because we may have a hard stop at 7.
I do.
One way that we may be able to help clubs with the whole goal setting and all that, it's hard to create lasting impact if you don't know what impact is or how you're going to achieve it. So we may be able to use that message to say, well, what does impact mean and what is your strategy or what is your approach? It kind of lends itself to thinking and planning because impact doesn't just randomly happen. So that might be something that we can use to help. So final thoughts before we close. Again, thank you all so much. I'm excited. We're all excited. You all are great. And we're going to do good things this upcoming year.
Oh,
Good
Great to
see
see some familiar faces, and
Yes.
I'm ready to welcome all the new AGs that I haven't met in a while. But great to be back on a team of good Rotarians.
That's
All
awesome.
right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Thank
I'm
you all
looking
very much.
forward
I'll
to
send out that. And again, please reach out if you have any questions or any additional feedback. We're an open door.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Good
Thank
to see
you.
you all.
Look
Bye,
forward to
guys.
meeting everyone in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care.